My mom had a major surgery 2 weeks ago. She's still in the hospital and won't be home for another few weeks yet. I, a male teen, am home with my stepdad, half-brother and sister since my dad isn't in the picture. But my half-siblings go to our grandparents during the day and my stepdad picks them up after work. Sometimes he will keep them with our grandparents for a few extra hours if he's visiting mom and stuff. My stepdad also has 2 kids from his other marriage. His daughter is a tween and his son is 1 year younger. My stepdad's kids treat my mom like crap. They've been trained to act like that by their mom, and my stepdad and she have been in court so many times in the last 5 years. But nothing has changed with their behaviour toward mom, and he and his ex often fight about it. His kids call my mom names, say she feeds them crap, tell her she's fat and ugly, and they gag whenever they know she cooked for everyone. It's gross. They told my mom their mom was better than her in every way and she'd never be good. My stepdad punishes them and all that, but it's crazy how hateful they are to mom. They're also really rude to mom's family. I don't really have any affection or patience for them, so we don't interact. But mom gets it a lot. When my mom was brought to the hospital, they said, "Good, we hope she dies." My stepdad looked incredibly angry at them. I acknowledged that he intervened immediately, but all of this means I want nothing to do with them, and I'm so glad when they're not at our house. I really dislike them. My stepdad wants me to feed his kids anyway. He gets home late, and he doesn't want to pay for them to stay with the sitter for an hour or two. He also doesn't want to send them to their mom, which I get, so he wanted me to provide some food for them, and I said no. He told me his kids needed to eat, and I said, it's not my problem. He doesn't want me left in charge of his kids ever. He told me they go hungry without someone to prepare something, and I said, so what? He told me my attitude could use some work. He said he needed my help and he was sorry they said what they said, but I needed to understand their mom had poisoned them so much. He told me it wouldn't be forever, and I already make myself food, so can't I make some extra? Am I the idiot for telling my stepdad feeding his kids is not my problem? They're tweens. Kids younger than that can get themselves something to eat. Tell your stepdad that while your mom is in the hospital, he needs to buy food that's easy for kids to grab and make themselves something so that all the kids in the house can have access to food for themselves. This will also make his life easier. There you go. Problem solved. Kids can get themselves food, no one goes hungry, and you're not stuck cooking. You are not the idiot. You're a kid going through a lot. This is a problem an adult can easily solve without putting it on your shoulders, and the adult needs to step up and do so instead of trying to outsource it. Seriously, they can pour a bowl of cereal. And on top of that, your stepdad is perfectly capable of spending 5 minutes a day showing his kids how to use a microwave and toaster oven. God forbid a teen made their own PB&J. This shouldn't be OP's responsibility. OP, it doesn't sound like he's stuck up for you or your mom. He doesn't discipline his kids for their rude behavior either. Why should you feel the need to help him or his kids? It's amazing what people, dad, will do or say when bad parenting bites them in the butt. They're old enough to understand consequences, and their stomach grumbling for an hour or two won't harm them and will remind them of what they said about your mum. Dude, if your mom isn't going to back you up on this, you're fighting a losing battle. It sounds like you and his kids are caught in the middle of trying to blend families that aren't going so well, and that's hard on everyone. But that being said, if you're the oldest one in the home right now, step up and feed them, and if it needs to be dealt with, do so when your mom is feeling better. That's really the best and most mature choice in what is a can't-win situation. I, 27 female, am a dentist, and my brother, 32, and his soon wife, 27, are getting married in less than 2 months. Let's call my sister-in-law Abby. Abby and I never had a relationship of our own. We definitely don't hate each other, but we're not besties. We exist in each other's presence. I noticed that in the invitation to their wedding, Abby requested the dress code to be that all the women at the wedding wear off-the-shoulder dresses, suits or anything just off the shoulder. Doesn't matter the colour or the sequence unless it's off the shoulder. As I said, I'm a dentist, and as many people already know, dentists may not have the best back or shoulder posture ever. I'm not an exception, and I tend to wear outfits that do not emphasize that part of my body. Now, the type of clothing this dress code demands requires someone with a good back posture because that's the emphasis. I totally lack that, and yes, I did try one dress off the shoulder on and it looked horrendous. So I asked if the dress code is really that important and if I have to abide by it, but my brother told me Abby stressed this dress code so much. And Abby was like, if she leeways me, she has to leeway everyone. I was kind of baffled that so much importance was placed on a certain type of clothing with no explanation given. I went shopping with my friend, hoping to find one in which I didn't look so clownish. I tried on so many different fits, looked like crap in all of them. So I told my mother that since they're so attached to that dress code, the best option here is for me not to go. So I wouldn't ruin their organisation, and I wouldn't have nightmares about how awful I looked in that event. But my mum got mad at me and said I'm being dramatic for not wanting to be there for my brother and family just for a dress. I told her I wanted to attend, but I also wanted to look good and feel pretty, and they were sticking to such a stupid rule that they couldn't provide a meaning. Regardless, I respected that and decided not to ruin the image of how they wanted their wedding. My mum said my absence would also ruin things because the guests would wonder why the sister wasn't attending when I was healthy. I told her, well, the guests will also wonder why I look like I could be the guy of Hunchback Notre Dame. Okay, I'm not that bad, but you get the gist here. My mum is still mad at me. I haven't told my brother and sister-in-law yet. So, are all the 90-year-old grannies going to be wearing off-the-shoulder outfits? As a granny myself, this is freaking horrifying. You are not the idiot. Wear what you want. She's going to be preoccupied, and this is a weird request. If she says anything, just say I wanted to be here at my best for your day, and that's on her if she reacts badly. Yeah, I mean, it's weird she's insisting on this. I've attended hundreds of weddings as a photographer and have never been to one where every female is wearing off the shoulder. Any woman who is large on top and wants to wear a supportive bra will ignore the dress code, so you won't be alone. Wear what you want, and if they ask you to leave, you'll survive. Abby has gone off the rails. Wedding guests are not an aesthetic. They are not flowers, tablecloths, napkins, or party favours. If someone told me I had to wear a specific style of dress as a guest, it would be the easiest RSVP with regrets I ever made. The wedding culture has completely gotten out of hand. Your brother and his fiancée are wrong and completely unreasonable. Good hosts make their guests welcome. Your brother and his wife-to-be are not good hosts. I, 25 female, and my husband, 27, had a child a few months ago, but the pregnancy was hard on my body, especially after the delivery. I have stretch marks all over my stomach, and I also got diagnosed with PPD. Well, I'm working on it now and doing better day by day, but since my delivery I've been extremely tired taking care of the baby and stuff. But since last 2 weeks I started going to the gym again with my husband. One thing that irked me was he always made remarks about my stretch marks and how I should be somewhat better by now. He was talking about my body and how it always turned him off. I kept up with it since I had no mental strength to argue. But 4 days ago, when I was feeding the baby, he again made a remark about my stretch marks. I don't know what happened inside me, but I shouted back at him and literally scolded him about it so much that the baby started crying. I took the baby and went to the spare bedroom to sleep. Well, since that day, he's been giving me the cold shoulder, and we only ever talk when it's about the baby. Yesterday, we had to go to his mom's house for a family gathering. Midway through the night, when all the people were present in a single room, she brought up the topic of my body and my stretch marks, and basically said it's not normal that I still have them and must not be doing enough to get rid of them. Well, all the people ages 40 plus chimed in with my mother-in-law's support. I was so embarrassed and ashamed by this that I left midway, but I did shout at them and I left without my husband. I drove to my sister's home with the baby and have been living there since yesterday. Most of our mutual friends, specifically guys, support him and have bombarded me with messages about how I overreacted and how it's my fault. Well, so did my husband this morning, saying how I'm overreacting and it's nothing, I should just come back, etc. I haven't replied to any of them, but I don't have the mental capacity to even think about it. I do think I shouldn't have shouted at them and I was wrong, but I need an outside perspective. So am I the idiot for shouting at my husband in front of his family? P.S. My husband has always been supportive and caring, even during and after the pregnancy. The stretch marks on my body are the only thing he complained about, and for the first time since we're married did he complain about anything. Not the idiot at all. Your husband and his family are massive ones. I'm so sorry they've been so horrible to you. Those stretch marks are evidence of the 9 months you spent growing and carrying his child. Trying to recover from pregnancy, birth, PPD and adjusting to the needs of a new baby is no mean feat. He should be worshipping the ground you walk on, not critiquing your body and shaming you for not physically recovering to his shallow standards. The fact that he complained to his mother about your body and she raised it in front of everyone just boggles my mind. He and the family absolutely deserved everything you gave them and more. Please don't go back to him unless he sincerely apologizes and supports you against these family members and so-called friends. And the fact that his mother and her female family members agree is even worse. Stretch marks aren't like acne or something. It took her 9 months to develop them, so I don't know how the heck they think they should go away in 3. It's literally the elasticity in the skin giving way. OP should block everyone. Her husband isn't as supportive as she thinks he is, and if she takes time to think about it, she'll probably see the trend. More than all of those things, stretch marks are genetic. This is something that is literally out of OP's control. Darling, you didn't yell at him in front of his family. You rightfully told off everyone in that room who made horrible comments about something that was none of their business. Your friends telling you that you're overreacting should not be your friends. Stay with your sister. I have 2 daughters who've made different choices in life that have led to different economic outcomes. One is not more responsible than the other, but their career paths and choice of partners led to my eldest being much more successful. We recently sold our house and gave about $70,000 to my youngest to help with buying an apartment. My eldest, 38, is more gifted in math and is an engineer. She owns her own house, and her husband is an anesthesia assistant. They both make a comfortable salary and can afford piano lessons for their son and daughter. My youngest daughter, 35, was never the best student but loved helping people. She got her degree in psychology and then married her boyfriend at the time. No one in the family liked her boyfriend because we found him to be lazy. He worked in snow removal in the winter but then took unemployment in the summer. But she liked him and didn't listen to our concerns, so we decided to be supportive. They married and she went through graduate school to do social work. They had a daughter during her schooling, and then he decided he didn't want to be a father. She said it was out of the blue and thought he'd found his current girlfriend then and wanted out. They divorced a year later, and now my youngest daughter and her daughter have been living in rentals. He does pay child support, but only about $300 a month due to his low income, which doesn't even come close to covering daycare. She doesn't make a lot in social work despite having a master's degree. I moved over there temporarily to be with her and babysit during the divorce. We also partially paid for her rent at that time. We sold our home to downsize to an apartment. We really wanted our youngest daughter to be able to afford a permanent place to live, and we gave her $70,000 out of the sale proceeds so she could buy an apartment. This was when interest rates were still low, so she bought a 1-bedroom for herself and her daughter and locked in a good rate. My eldest found out about it and was angry because she felt like we always gave her sister money. I told her sister was struggling and she already had a house. She said it was her own choice to marry a loser. Everyone told her it was a bad idea. She accused us of always financially helping her sister, and I told her if she needed help, we would help. She said we wouldn't because she knows her sister is always the one who needs hand-holding. She also told me between helping her with rent, paying for graduate school, and that, she shouldn't have to raise a hand to help us if we need it because her sister got all our help. I think she needs to realize we will give help to the one who needs it, not just split it down the middle when she's already doing well. You are the idiot. You gave your daughter $70,000 who's made bad decisions. You gave the one who studied hard, got a good degree, job and marriage, nothing. Need I say more? Your youngest does not need you to buy her a house or pay for her college. You wanted to give her these things. What a shame you never wanted to do anything for your eldest. One of the quickest ways to destroy relationships is to be unfair. Hopefully you will have enough to see you to the end because your older daughter may not be able to lift a finger to help you. She's going to remember this. Your older daughter is right. Her sister was warned about marrying the loser. She married him anyway, and now you're paying her way through life. What a consequence for making a bad choice. If we could all be so lucky. Obvious favoritism. Why don't you rewrite your will so that the money you give to the youngest is subtracted from her share of the inheritance? You could still help her, but the oldest would get her fair share. You'd be acknowledging the unfairness and remedying it at the same time. We've done that, which has required redoing the wills every 5 years or so, and it lets us help whoever needs it, oldest or youngest, without creating a golden child situation. My sister and I lost our mother when we were teenagers. We both went into therapy until it wasn't financially doable anymore. I had my own issues, but my sister was something else. In short, she was a nightmare to our dad. It got even worse when Dad started dating again. His breaking point was when he wanted to get married to his girlfriend, but she caused chaos. She destroyed the wedding dress and made a lot of threats. My sister was 20 at this time, and his girlfriend couldn't do it. She didn't want to marry into a family with my sister in it. I think this was my dad's last straw. Huge argument, and he cut her off and kicked her out. After that, the whole household improved, and her behaviour's negative impact became clear. Dad improved greatly, and I don't believe he regrets it. My sister would reach out, and I gave her a chance. My dad doesn't wish to and says his life is better this way, as cold as that sounds. So I'm in contact with my sister and she's calmed down a lot. She's 27 and is getting married. She wants Dad to be at the wedding, but he won't respond to anything she sends him. She asked me to contact him. I told her no and it started an argument. By the end, I told her the truth that Dad was better off without her and I will not help her. She called me an idiot and I'm wondering if I'm wrong. Not the idiot. Ask her how she would feel if her dad would come and ruin her upcoming wedding. 20-year-old is an adult and now she has to answer for her actions. Sadly, your father doesn't want to do anything with her and you can't change that. Your sister needs to accept that it is only her fault and your dad might or might not ever have any relationship with her and it's not your job to mediate. I'm not going to lie, to me it looks like the sister only wants to reconnect with the dad so he can give her at the altar for appearances. Actions have consequences, and it's not your place to pressure your father into something he doesn't want. If your sister was like 10 when all this happened, I'd be more understanding, but a 20-year-old needs to be more mature than that. You're not a message service. You don't need to be the mediator. This is between them, and you're not wrong. From your perspective, Dad is happier.